Hello. In this video, I will be discussing the source evaluation assignment for English 1B. So for this assignment, it is designed to help you prepare for the claim of fact essay and become more comfortable researching and evaluating all sources you encounter. So you are going to select one of the sources that you have found through your preliminary research about your claim of fact essay topic. Hopefully, you have explored the Chaffey College Library databases. You're going to choose one of these sources that you have found that you plan to use for your claim of fact essay, and you are going to assess that one source for this assignment. Which source you choose is up to you and depending on your research. However, it should be substantial enough or long enough that you'll be able to talk about it at length for this assignment. So it shouldn't be just, a simple kind of one-page website article. It should be a little bit longer, something that you can kind of dive into a little deeper. So this assignment should follow MLA formatting guidelines. You can click here on the MLA and Citation Resources page to access resources to help you with that if you need help with MLA formatting. The essay or assignment should be at least 2 full pages, up to 3 pages in length, and that does not include the works cited page. So the works cited page will be the final page, the last page, and is not included in that 2 to 3 pages. This link will take you to a Chaffey College library page embedded in this course and give you a step-by-step walkthrough of how to access the Chaffey College library databases and how to search for key terms related to your topic. So please look through this page, watch the videos to get help, especially if the database research is new for you. Okay, next. You're going to answer the following questions in complete sentences using proper grammar and mechanics. Mechanics means things like spacing and spelling and punctuation, things like that. You can number your answers just like this, or you can write it into a paragraph. Be sure to answer each question fully and completely in order to receive full credit. So part 1 is your introduction. What is the topic that you are writing about for your claim of fact essay, your conspiracy theory, and why? Why are you writing about this? You are going to introduce the source. So you've got your topic. Let's say that you are investigating the murder of Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, so you're going to say, this is the topic I've chosen for my essay. I'm writing about this because X, Y, and Z. And upon my research, I found this source. Okay, so you found a source. Maybe it's like a government website or something like that, or an article you found through the Chaffey College Library database. So you're going to say, okay, here's my source. This is what it's titled. These are the authors, or this is the author. Maybe there's only one. I found it in this place. I found it online through a Google search. I found it in the Academic Search Complete database through the Chaffey College Library, wherever you found it. Where was it originally published? When was it originally published? That's another possible thing you can discuss. What can you find out about who sponsored or funded this study or this article? Is it like an independent journalist? Was it, like a historian? Was it some, publication, journal, magazine, website? Where is it coming from, right? Kind of what's the origin of this source? And are there any conflicts of interest listed? So often, usually on a peer-reviewed academic source that you found through a database, the authors will have to list any potential conflicts of interest. So, for example, if my article about Martin Luther King Jr. was written by the director of the FBI, that would be maybe somewhat of a conflict of interest if the conspiracy theory that I am investigating involves the government and those organizations, right? Because they would be wanting to put forth a certain narrative or tell certain facts in a certain way to kind of steer the audience in a certain direction, okay? So we need to be thinking about, who's behind this and what would their bias or motivations be, and is that going to be affecting this source that I'm looking at here? Okay, next is the trustworthiness of this one source. So, what information can you find out about the author or the authors of this particular source, this article, for example? You're going to need to do some more research for this. So you're going to Google the author's name or Google the publication, the website, look into the About Me or About Us section of someone's website. Oftentimes, if it is a scholarly source, the author is likely a faculty member at a university. So you'll want to go to their university page and see what you can find out about them. Maybe the author has their own website or their own social media account. You're going to go there and see what you can find out about them. So that's what you're going to explain here, right? What information can you find out? Where can you find more information about them, right? Did you go to their LinkedIn account? Did you go to their YouTube page? Did you go to their faculty website, etc.? How do you know this author is credible, right? Is it just like a Joe Schmo blog, or does this person have a degree in history or psychology, or they're a PhD in whatever subject it might be, right? We want to find out, why should we trust this person? Why should they have a say about this topic? Okay, you can also consider what sort of education or experience that author or authors have. Usually a scholarly journal article, which you find through a database like the Chaffey College Library database, will contain information about the author or authors on the first page as a footnote or at the end of an article. So if you found a source through there, check there first. Otherwise, as I mentioned, you're going to Google them and try to find out as much as you can about them. Kind of do a little bit of, entry-level stalking, if you will, on who the author is. Look for the university faculty page, an organization that the author might be associated with, etc. Also, you want to make sure you're cross-referencing because sometimes people have the same names, right? So make sure that the author of the article is that actual person whose LinkedIn profile that you found. What information can you find out about the publication itself, right? Maybe it's the magazine, the journal, or maybe it's a website. How do you know that we can trust them? Are they funded by some organization which has a really biased viewpoint? Or is it, more of a kind of free speech organization, right? So these are the types of things we want to be considering because it's not just the individual author or authors that we're concerned about, right? We want to make sure that we have unbiased, as much as possible, credible sources, but we also have to look at the publications behind them. Does the publication have a specific sort of reputation? Maybe, maybe it's a more leftist publication. Maybe it's a more conservative publication, right? Depending on where things are published, it's also going to dictate the spin that they put on a specific topic. All right, so again, you're going to do research into that, right? What information can I find out about the New York Times or the Washington Post or whatever it might be? All right, now, based on all that information, the stuff that you found out about the author and the publication, you're going to answer the question, how trustworthy and credible is this source, right? Can I trust it? Is it credible? Is there known bias from the author or the publication? That's okay. We all have bias, but we also need to be honest about those things, and we want to discuss them in this paper, right? We are evaluating this one source, the author, the publication. We're digging deep into it to figure out kind of what's behind it all. Okay. Finally, in part 3, you are going to summarize the source. You're discussing how useful this source is going to be for your claim of fact essay. What's the thesis of your source? What are they trying to prove or disprove? What specific information here is useful to you, and how can you use it in your claim of fact essay? What specifically can you use from this source in your essay? What are the limitations of this source, right? Maybe there's certain things that this source doesn't include. You'll need to do further research on that. And also discussing the bias, right? If your source is clearly biased in one point of view, maybe you'll want to actively seek out another source that's presenting a different view, right? You want to look at both sides of the issue and be able to present a level, more unbiased point of view in your own essay. So overall, how useful is the source to you? And it's okay if through this process you find out, actually this source really isn't that useful to me, or actually I'm not really sure if I'm going to use this source. That's okay too. That's part of this process. All right, and lastly, part 4 is your conclusion. So based on your answers to the first 3 sections, right, part 1, 2, and 3, what's your final assessment, right? Kind of summarize it all. How trustworthy, how useful, any other comments that you want to include. All right, and then the very last thing that you'll need to do is include a properly formatted works cited page. So this will include the primary source that you are using, the one that you're really looking into, and then also any other websites, pages, articles you found that helped you establish the trustworthiness, credibility of the author or the publication. So for example, it's going to be your main source that you're digging into that you could potentially use for your claim of fact essay. And let's say that you so you're going to investigate the author. You Googled the author and you found that this author has a YouTube page. So maybe you're going to use the YouTube page as your other source, right? Which you've cited in your essay, like, oh, Jessica Tancredi has a YouTube channel, and on it, she includes videos for her classes, blah, 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 right? That's what you would be talking about here in the trustworthiness. And you need to cite that source, and it needs to correspond with the source down here that you've included in your works cited page, right? So let's say, let's kind of make this a little bit easier. Let's go to my website, and let's say that you are writing about the importance of reading, okay? And you come across my article, and you want to use this article in your essay to talk about the importance of reading, okay? So you're going to read through this and you're going to make notes about it. Oh yeah, this is really useful. This is useful for my essay because of XYZ. But now you also need to figure out more about me. Who am I? And why should anyone trust me about what I have to say about reading? Well, on my website, there's this about page, which you can click on. You can learn a little bit more about me here. I tell you that I have degrees in specific subjects that I've been teaching for 11 years, things like that. So you would use then this about page as that other source on your works cited page. So your works cited page would have 2 sources. It would have this about page where you've gotten the information regarding my trustworthiness from, and then it would have this page about the importance of reading. This is your primary source, right? Your article that you're thinking of using for your essay. Okay, I hope that makes sense. You've got the primary source and then the other source that's telling something about the author or about the publication. Okay. So those are the two sources that you need to include on your works cited page. Again, there's a link to the excuse me, MLA and citation resources page if you need that for your reference. Also down here below is a sample source evaluation assignment, which you can take a look at. This is from a former student, and so this is what she was writing about. You can see she has an introduction, trustworthiness, usefulness, conclusion, okay? And it's about 3.5 pages. And then she has her works cited page here. Okay. Down below, the due date here is June 21st, and then you see the rubric, which is how you will be graded. So each category of your assignment will be graded individually for a total of 100 points towards your essays and writing assignments grade. Okay, that's all. I hope that this helps. I hope this answered any questions that you might have. If you do have any other questions, please feel free to send me a message or an email, and I'm happy to help work things out with you and answer any questions that you might have. Okay, well, that's it for today, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.